Hello everyone and welcome to my very first episode of Bob the Team Builder. Today I will be starting with something I feel comfortable with doing, a team I have already built before, and I'm just going to reproduce it and we are going through it step by step. So what I'll be doing today is build a hyper offensive team, UU, as you can see right over there, and we're going to start by... I really wanted to build this team around Choice Bandit Crocodile, and so I started with that, obviously. So I went with Crocodile, and Choice Bandit Crocodile is one of my favorite mons in the current meta. It's really good, it's really solid, it can take a hit, it can hit like an absolute monster. So obviously I'm going to add the Choice Band, and then for its ability, most people tend to go with Moxie, but I actually prefer Intimidate on it, because then it can take more hits, it can pressure things out, and then you can Pursuit Trap it. So all in all, this is a very, very effective Pokemon to use, and that's what we're going to do. So I go with Intimidate, and then it kind of has a standard moveset of Earthquake, Knockoff, and then, as I said, I wanted Pursuit on this set. And then you can go either with Stone Edge or Superpower. So I have decided to go with Superpower since I do not click Stone Edge that often as soon as I am using this Pokemon. So I felt like Superpower might be a bit more helpful, but all in all, the majority of things you're going to be clicking are either Earthquake, Knockoff, or Pursuit. So it's really solid. This fourth slot is just extra, really, and the set that you want to be running is just max speed. No, actually not. 200 plus speed, because this allows you to outspeed max speed Nidoking, and that's just big, and that's like almost everything you want to outspeed. So that's the reason why I run 200 speed, 252 in attack, and then the remainder you can just drop in HP for a bit of extra bulk. The nature we are going to be using is going to be Jolly, of course, because otherwise we will not, if we would run Adamant, then we would not be able to outspeed the Nidoking, which I have just mentioned. So that's one reason. This is a very good set. It kills a lot of things, it hits really hard, it wall breaks a lot of things. Some people are just like, yeah, just let me switch in this Donphan or whatever, is a very solid mon, very solid defensive mon, and then they're just like, wow, that did a lot. I played a game 20 minutes before this, and someone switched in Meganium, max physically defensive Meganium on knockoff, that did about 70%, I think, so that was absolutely ridiculous. And Crocodile with the Intimidate is just a very, very good mon in general, especially with the knockoff boost this season. So next off, you want something that pairs up really well with Crocodile, but before we do that, because I start rambling of course, is we add something that can set up rocks. So we want Stuff Rocks on our team. As soon as you're running Hyper Offense, you cannot allow the opponent to have Sash users that can take you out. Well, obviously there's Alakazam in it here and you have to work around that, but we have something for that as well later on. So what do? We add Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen is probably one of the most reliable Stuff Rockers. So what we do, this is a standard set I like to use with the Stealth Rocks, of course. And then for maximum coverage, well, I think this is the best coverage you can get on Nidoqueen, and dual stab as well. So we just go with Sludge Wave, because going with Sludge Bomb to 30% to poison is not going to matter because of Sheer Force. So Sheer Force nullifies the effects. So you're never going to get a poison or a Spadef drop or whatever while using Sheer Force Nidoqueen. But what you do get is raw power, and that's what we like on hyper offensive teams. So next off, Earth Power, and the last move is Ice Beam, because a lot of mons that tend to switch in on this, or after they've seen these two moves, are like Crobat or Honchkrow, or things that can fly at least. Flygon, for example, as well, because Flygon is Levitate and does resist a Sludge Wave. So Ice Beam is a very, very good coverage move. This Pokemon can hit everything very hard. So what we do is we put 252 into our special attack, and we put 160 in speed. This 228, I just looked up what it does outspeed, but this allows you to outspeed base 95 uninvested. That's what it was. For example, defensive Arcanine. So you're gonna get it to hit off first when you're facing a defensive Arcanine, unless it has a tiny bit of speed investment. You're not going to be outspeeding base 100 defensive mons, like Tentacruel, for example. That thing hardly ever runs HP investment, but you're not going to be outspeeding that. Might be unfortunate in some situations, but the majority of times you can take a hit from defensive Tentacruel anyways. So what we're doing is we put the rest obviously into the HP section, and we give this mon the Modest Nature. So this is a very solid Pokemon. This is a very solid lead. The only thing you have to look out for is Choice Scarf Sheer Force Darmanitan, because that Flare Blitz from Scarf Darmanitan knocks out Nidoqueen in one hit. So obviously we need something for the Darmanitan, and we need something that hits very hard. We need something that doesn't allow hazards on our side of the field. So all in general, I just described one Pokemon, which is Blastoise. Blastoise also has a very standard set, which is the Rapid Spin set. You can go with Hydro Pump or Scald. I prefer Hydro Pump. And the moves I like to run are Dark Pulse and Ice Beam. I know Gargle Flop, if you're watching this video, you're going to be quite disappointed that I didn't put Flash Cannon on there, but I don't think it's as viable as you think it is. So what I tend to do is most Blasters actually run 20 speed investment because it's a recommended set on Smogon. So what I do is just I speed creep them and I give my Blasters 24. And then obviously we're going to go with the 252 and the Modest Nature, and then the rest of this is gonna go into my HP. So we also go with the Modest Nature. So this again is a very solid Pokemon in my opinion. It does outspeed, well, it doesn't really outspeed a lot of things, but it's very good. It hits like an absolute monster, because Mega Blastoise has 135 base special attack, and with its ability, the cannon thing, forgot its name, the Mega Launcher ability, that is going to do a lot with Dark Pulse and Hydro Pump, and Ice Beam is just in general a very good coverage mon. What I've just mentioned is that we don't want to be weak to Sash users, and the only Sash user that is remaining is going to be the Alakazam. So we want something that I did not mean to click Alakazam, but we want something that can beat Alakazam one-on-one, and just a reliable Pokemon in general. So what we do is like, Jirachi isn't going to do a lot, but if you give Jirachi the Choice Scarf, and then you can just U-turn out and go into whatever Pokemon can take the hit, or you just bank on the Iron Head Flinch, then that is also going to be doing a lot. So obviously we go with Serene Grace. And then the set I tend to run on this team is Iron Head. Then we go U-turn because momentum, trick, and then the last move is either Ice Punch or Fire Punch, depends on your team. But we already have Nidoqueen with Ice Beam, we already have Blastoise with Ice Beam, and my next Pokemon I'm going to be making is Machamp, and that also tends to carry Ice Punch. So what you can do is switch it around, is just give this thing Ice Punch and give Machamp the Heavy Slam. What you can also do is just give Jirachi Fire Punch. So what we do is just do it like this, but what I have on this team for my Rachi is just straight up Fire Punch, and then we do actually run the suggested spread on this one. So this is probably the first one of 2 mons that run the suggested spread, so on this team. The next one, as I said, is going to be Machamp. So Machamp does run an Assault Vest. There we go. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with the... Oh yeah, there we go. So what I did for Machamp is... I want to show you guys something real quick that I was looking up just a second ago. So let's calc this with Choice Specs Hydreigon, and we have Max HP Machamp. So Max HP Machamp is going to take 61 to 72% from a Draco Meteor. A lot of people tend to put the 0 HP, but like 252 in Spadef. and that actually allows you to take it like 6% better. But then I also calculated it with Choice Bandit Crook what the difference was between there, and it was about 15% between 0 HP and max HP. So as you can see, it does allow you to take special hits a bit better, like 5-6% on a high roll from a very, very powerful mon like Specs Hydreigon, but it doesn't allow you to take other hits, physical hits better. So what I want to do is just go with max HP. I prefer that. But if you feel like, well, my Machamp only takes special hits, then you can go with max Spadef over max HP. So I actually want to go with Guts, because not Steadfast, Guts. Most Assault Vest Machamps do actually run Dynamic Punch with no guard, but I actually prefer the close combat one because my Machamp is actually the Suicune counter as well, because otherwise it seems very weak to Crocoon. But once he gets off the burn with the Scald, you're actually going to be doing better, and it's like a guaranteed 2-hit KO. I think with the Guts boost, it does like about 70% to max HP, max defense Crocoon. So very good, very solid with the close combat. And then we want the knockoff. We want kind of a bit of priority on the team with Bullet Punch, and the last move for coverage is just Ice Punch. You're not going to be clicking Ice Punch a whole lot, but once more, we are going with the suggested spread. It's what we can do. As I said, you can take out all the HP investment and put it into Spadef. That can work, but in my opinion, I prefer this. Last Pokemon I wanted to use is, now we want something that can actually set up on something, something that can hit like a truck as well, and that has to be Haxorus. Haxorus is a very good mon, and I actually prefer it being shiny since it's black, and black is cool and stuff. So what I went with is the Dragon Dance set. You can go Dual Dance if you want to. I've actually been swept by a Dual Dancing Haxorus, but in my opinion this is better. I prefer this set, the Lumbari with the Dragon Dance. After one Dragon Dance, this is basically your late game sweeper, because these 5 mons prior to Haxorus form a very good team, a very good core, but sometimes Haxorus can just hand over that tiny extra bit and just set up a Dragon Dance and then just sweep the rest of the team. So we obviously are going to be running the Outrage, because Outrage is just that good when it's stab, 120 stab, and looking at this guy's attack stat with 147, you're like 330 uninvested. Like Jirachi, just to give an example, has like 100 base attack, 252 doesn't even come near to what Haxorus has uninvested. So that's pretty insane, and we are going to maximize this as well. I'm very sorry about that noise, but that is my start time that I have to go eat. But this video is almost over, so I'm just going to end this right here. I actually put 240 in speed. I don't really know what you outspeed after one Dragon Dance after this, but you probably outspeed base 90 Scarfers, so that would be very nice. And then the remainder we put into HP. I actually have to finish this set, I just noticed. But then we put in Earthquake and something to hit fairies, which is the Poison Jab. So this is actually very solid coverage. They actually give you 220 speed, but the recommended set on Smogon actually says 240, and I could not be bothered to look up what that is probably for. And then we do run the Adamant Nature actually on this Pokemon as well. So this is a very solid team. I will be posting some games with it. Hope you enjoyed it all, and I will see you guys later. Peace.